Okay, we will get started now. Those who'd like to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature. Okay, we will start off with Trevor Allen from KSL Sports. Go ahead, Trevor.
I know it's really raw right now, but what are your thoughts? I mean, it seemed like you had a really strong game, but you guys just couldn't get the proper stops, and you guys had some turnovers in that first half.
We just turned the ball over. We didn't play our best game at all whatsoever. We got a lot to work on, and we're going to come back next week harder than ever, and we're going to come really with a dub. So.
Next, we'll go to Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Makai, can you hear me?
Yeah.
On the 4th and 2 from the 8, when you guys are down 3, were you surprised that you guys went for it on 4th down? And just what were you seeing as that play unfolded?
I wasn't surprised at all. It's a big game, so we trying to get in the end zone any way we could. It was just a rough little miscommunication. That's all it was, and we just got to get better.
Next up, Josh Furlong, KSL.com.
Makai, what do you think it was that BYU did that was so effective to be able to kind of get you guys not in your rhythm?
I don't think they did anything specific. We went over everything they ran offensively. We went over what their defense ran. We just couldn't execute. That's all it was.
Next, Cole Bagley, Daily Utah Chronicle.
Makai, the rest of the running backs really seemed to struggle out there tonight, but you led the room with 146 yards. What was the difference for you as opposed to them?
We all came to work this week. I don't know what the difference was. I guess I just been here longer. I know the difference what this game really means to everyone. So I feel like I just came out here and just played.
We'll go back to Josh Furlong, followed by Trevor Allen.
Makai, earlier this week you talked about how this streak was important to get. What does it feel like? What are your emotions like now that streak has ended?
It's a tough one. It really is. 9 in a row. We try to make it 10. I mean, we had a good run. We won't see these guys for another couple years, so it's tough. We had to end it on this one, but we're gonna come back harder. We're gonna start a new streak. So,
Trevor Allen.
Are you guys? Is the message in the locker room already turning your guys' attention to next week against San Diego State?
Yeah. We gotta keep moving on. You can't dwell on the past. This is in the past now. We'll get to work next week, and San Diego State. That's we gotta go 1-0 against them.
Okay, thank you, Makai. Appreciate it. Next, we'll have linebacker Devin Lloyd. Those who'd like to ask questions, get in the queue, please using the raise hand feature. Okay, thank you, Devin. We'll start off with Trevor Allen, KSL Sports, followed by Matt Coles of the AP.
Devin, you were here in 2019 for the game where you guys really handled them in the line of scrimmage. I mean, what was different in this game compared to 2019? I mean, it seemed like there were some times where they just converted on 3rd down.
Got to get stops. We did good on control downs, 1st, 2nd down, but too many 3rd down conversions. That's simple as it gets. We gave them too many 3rd down conversions.
Next, we'll go to Matt Coles of the AP, followed by Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune.
Devin, what did they do to get loose, especially the quarterback haul?
We got to be more assignment.
Some of those QB runs.
As far as gap integrity and then keeping the edge, he got the edge on us a couple of times. QB scramble, QB draw a couple of times down the middle. We got to just understand that we got to be gap sound and contain the quarterback.
We'll go next to Josh Newman, followed by Josh Furlong.
Yeah, Devin, aside from the third down stuff that you mentioned, how tough were things early, just having to deal with a short field after the pick and the fumble by Tavion, having to deal with a short field?
I say we handled the short fields pretty well. I mean, especially in the first half, I think one of them, they punted and the other, they got a field goal. So we got to just execute on third downs. That's really what it came down to all game. We did a good job in those first couple, but as the game progressed, they started to convert more.
And just to follow that up, as an older guy, as somebody who's beaten BYU a few times, what are the emotions like right now in your last BYU game, not being able to come out with the win this time?
I mean, it obviously hurts. It hurts everybody. Just knowing what we put in, how much the rivalry means.
Josh Furlong, followed by Jeff Thomas from Ute Nation.
Devin, you guys had a hard time getting to Jaron tonight. Was that part of the game plan to kind of play it a little bit more conservative in the sense of trying to keep him in lines, or what was going on there that you guys couldn't get to him as well?
When say conservative, got to hit home. We had 0 sacks, and that's unacceptable. No turnovers, no havoc plays at all. That's unacceptable for our defense. It wasn't conservative play calling. We got to just take pride in getting to the quarterback and making big plays at the end of the day.
We'll go next to Jeff Thomas from UteNation.com.
Hey, Devin, was there anything that BYU did in particular that caught you guys by surprise on defense?
I wouldn't say anything schematic-wise. Everything that we saw, we studied. I'd say defensively, we felt very prepared. We just didn't execute. Quarterback got loose a couple times. Like I said, we lost the edge. Just didn't convert in critical situations.
Okay, anything else for Devin? Thanks, Devin. Okay, we will now go to head coach Kyle Whittingham. Those who'd like to ask questions, please begin to raise your hand in the participants panel. Coach, would you like to begin with some opening comments?
Sure. First of all, congratulations to Kalani, their football team. They played outstanding. Give them credit. They won the football game tonight. Beat us to the line of scrimmage, which I would have bet my house going in that we would not lose the line of scrimmage. My house isn't worth that much, so it's not that big a deal. But I would never have seen that coming where we didn't control the line of scrimmage. That's our MO. That's what we do best. And we surrendered nearly 250 yards rushing. Couldn't get a sack. Had 0 sacks, 0 takeaways on defense, which is not a good recipe for success offensively. Not good enough on third down. We only snapped it 50-something times because we couldn't convert a third down. They were 2 out of 9 on third down, and they were 11 out of 19. So consequently, we snap it 55, 54 times. They snap it 70-something times, and that's you got to win third down. You got to do a better job on third down. But yeah, they deserve the win. We got to regroup, and got a road trip to San Diego State, who put one on Arizona tonight. So we got our hands full in that game, and that's all we can do is pick ourselves up off the mat, figure out where deficiencies are, and get them corrected, and be ready to play the Aztecs next weekend. So questions.
We'll begin the questions with Josh Newman of the Salt Lake Tribune, followed by Trevor Allen, KSL Sports.
Kyle, can you expand a little bit on the play up front? I know it's fresh and raw and you haven't seen film, but what were you seeing out there, and what do you think was going wrong live in the moment?
On our defensive line, we were getting pushed, and it was evident by the running backs. After contact, we were getting 3 or 4 extra yards because of the surge of the offensive line. The runners ran hard and did a really nice job. We couldn't hold up. We didn't hold up, and so that's my fault. I guess I got to get them, find a way to get them better and get them, in situations and positions to be more successful. So that was the thing on our defense at the line of scrimmage. Offensively, we ran the ball pretty good at times. Came away with about 180 yards. I think we were over 7 yards a carry. But if you can't convert third downs and extend drives and keep drives alive, then it's not going to be a good outcome. We only moved the chains, I think it was 15 times, and it's not enough. It's not nearly enough to win a football game in this day and age.
And just a quick follow-up to that, Kyle. On the 4th and 2 from the 8, when you guys were down 10-7, can you share the thinking behind going for it instead of kicking the field goal?
Sure. Analytics, which I don't pay 100% attention to, had it as a solid go from 4 or less. We were at 2, and I thought that was the play right there. They just because it's a bad outcome doesn't mean it was a bad decision. I do it again. That's what should have happened in that situation, in my opinion, and as well as the analytics. And so you can't base the decision on the outcome, and that's what happened there. And then they proceeded to go obviously 93 yards after that, which shocked me. People don't usually drive on our defense, those length of drives, and so couldn't find a way out of that drive.
We'll go next to Trevor Allen, KSLSports.com.
What was your message to your players, especially knowing that this 9-game streak over BYU is over?
Yeah, well, the message was we're disappointed. We didn't play as well as we're capable of playing. I can tell you that for certain. But again, I'm not trying to take away anything from their victory because they earned it. But that was not our best football. Got to pick ourselves up off the mat. We got a lot of football ahead of us. This does nothing to our ultimate goal of trying to win the Pac-12, which obviously is going to be very, very challenging. But we got to just pick ourselves up and figure out what we did wrong and get better and move forward.
Next, Josh Furlong, KSL.com.
Kyle, how would you grade out Charlie's performance tonight, knowing that, the offensive line kind of allowed some pressures in, but just he wasn't able to make some of those throws, especially down at the end?
Yeah, I have to watch the film to get the exact gauge on how Charlie played. His numbers weren't bad. We didn't throw the ball a ton, but his completion percentage was fairly high. We did have the interception, and that was it was not an ideal way to start the game. Two turnovers, and could have been 21-0 early very easily. But our defense did some really good things early on in the game. But as far as Charlie's performance, we'll have to take a good hard look at the film and see what was going on there.
Quick follow-up on the offense. Makai obviously, led the team in rushing yards. Tavion had the fumble. Are you starting to see that separation with Makai there?
Apparently we are. Yeah, he played very well tonight, ran hard, ripped off some big runs. He's also a great receiver out of the backfield. So he's a weapon for us. He played his heart out. That's another thing. Our guys, there's no quitting our guys. Not that anybody's alluding to that, but I was proud of our guys for hanging in there to the very end and continued to battle. And that's encouraging. There's a lot of fight in these guys, but we came up short. But back to your question, yeah, Makai certainly seemed to get some separation between him and the other backs tonight.
Trevor Allen, KSLSports.com.
What was the big boiling point to what happened up front on the D line, not being able to get some TFLs getting into the backfield.
Big what point?
The boiling point. What was the main reason why they weren't able to get in the backfield?
Well, that's another thing. The line play is really, you have to have a chance to watch the film, because that's the hardest thing to see during the game. And watch the monitor, this big screen as much as I could, but they were just surging off the ball, and we weren't getting any knockback. That's something we stress and pride ourselves on, and is the starting point to play D line here, is to get some knockback on the offensive line, reestablish the line of scrimmage, and we weren't able to do that. Just couldn't do it. And consequently, no TFLs, no sacks, no takeaways. And that's the third time I've said consequently this interview, so that's it for that.
We'll go to Josh Furlong, KSL.com.
How do you rally the team after something like this? Obviously, you had mistakes in that first game. You've got mistakes in this game. Where do you where do you go from here?
Well, we're a work in progress, like pretty much every team in the country is at this point in the season, just a couple games in. But you lean on your leaders heavily. Obviously, that's something that we need to have those guys step up and make sure that we have more resolve and more determination than what we had tonight. And again, not that anybody laid down, because we didn't quit, but we got to find a way to be better. And the captains are a big part of that. Coaches, we got to work harder as coaches if that's possible. I mean, we're in the office for hours on end, but we got to work smarter than what we're doing. We got to be better coaches.
Final question will come from Josh Newman, Salt Lake Tribune.
Kyle, you've spoken highly of Tavion, but the fact that he put it on the deck and lost a fumble for the second game in a row, how frustrating is that? Because otherwise he has played well.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating, but you've got to take care of the football. You can't put it on the ground. And there was actually another one that was stripped. Fortunately, his knee was down, so it didn't go in the statistics, but it was a strip nonetheless. You got to do a better job securing the football, and that's job one. If you can't secure the football, you can't play. Now, we're not going to give up on Tavion by any means, but you cannot have the ball turned over, and he's just going to have to fix that. We work with him on that every single day in practice, and he's gotten better. But you again saw it tonight. That's two that counted in 2 games, and that's too many.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good night.